Hello and welcome to Awaken and Ascend. I'm Jennifer Regular here with a very special guest. Therese Skelly is here joining me today from Arizona, who's on a mission, who sees women working in their zones of genius, impacting future generations. See, when women are sovereign, they are a force for change, and this impacts the economy and consciousness. She's all for unifying, not dividing or canceling out the other. Instead, learning to hold all parts in our hearts with compassion, which is so important at this time. By working in the feminine, trusting the divine, managing our energy, we can create from a place of inspiration and intuition, rather than always pushing and struggling. In other words, we don't have to sell our souls to create a beautiful business. Therese, I am so excited that you are joining us. Thank you so much. And I really appreciate you because I do find that we're moving from this product-driven economy into a
Mhm,
purpose-driven
mhm.
economy, more conscious creation about who we are. And you're right, not having to sell our souls, right? Just
Yeah.
being
It's
able to
too high of a
open up.
cost. It's not
Yeah,
worth it. Yeah, yeah.
no, it's not worth it. And so we're all here cultivating this integrated higher consciousness model of living. So thank you so much for joining us today.
I'm delighted to be here. Thank you, Jennifer.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm really interested, Therese, in how you got started. What inspired you to move in this direction?
Well, I used to be a psychotherapist. And I used to be like a recovering codependent. Like, so there's a reason I was a therapist, right? Because I had my own stuff. And so much of that, Jennifer, the therapy part was great. It informed a lot of what I did. And then I moved into the coaching space. And what I was aware of is that I still had my stuff. And a lot of the stuff included having to prove and not trusting and like my own will, my grit, like make it happen. And truthfully, when I entered the coaching space, it was 2001. A lot of years, do the math. And it was very masculine, very, very just, you can never talk about, the soul and goddess or feminine. It was hardcore marketing, that kind of stuff. And so along the way, I experienced the high highs and also the burnout that goes with it. Like,
Mhm.
it's not sustainable when you're pushing and striving. And so I just had multiple times in my life where I have just been brought to my knees. And the more I have been brought to my knees, meaning, oh, Park, I need some help here. I can't do all this, right? The more I have called on God, the divine universe source, whatever you want to call that, and the more that happens, the more I am aware of my gifts, right? So I went from just being a life coach to a business coach. And now I have the business coaching, but I have this wild, wonderful, crazy, intuitive aspect of me that is like the greatest gift I've ever, I can't, it's just magnificent. And it took me a really long time to surrender to like, whoa, thank you, God, for this gift. It's phenomenal. So the way I work today is just co-creating, just like, okay, what wants to happen? Boom. And I'm so in tune now. And it's so much easier and it's so much more effective because I just listen and I surrender and I trust and I get aligned with that which is, right? So I could talk for days on this one. So ask me a question because I'm like excited about it. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that inspiration. And I love how you brought it back to the art of intuition. Because I find that, especially for women, there's this lost art of intuition.
Mhm.
We don't
Mhm.
use it as much anymore,
Right.
especially in
Right.
business. And there's a lot of high powered women out there. And I don't just mean spiritually high powered,
Yeah.
I mean
Yeah.
like business high powered, right?
Right.
Like
Right.
CEOs, political leaders, and just women that are in positions that are unprecedented, which is the
Yeah.
buzzword these days,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And
Yes.
very masculine, very go, 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 and boss oriented, and
Mhm.
always having to impress and not so much the connect to our consciousness, our higher
Mhm.
self, our spiritual beingness, our spiritual sovereignty. And so you're really working with women in their zone of genius, but also in that feminine flow. So
Well,
can you share with us what that means? What's this feminine flow?
yeah.
Mm,
Well, let's talk about, like, I have to pull out the word sovereignty first, right?
mm, mm-hmm,
So I'm in my 60s, right? And I was trained to not have a voice. I was trained to ask for permission to speak. The women should be a little subjugated, and the men are making the decisions. So that is culturally, that is still living in the waters we swim in, right? And women are also trained to defer and just get along and like, oh well, oh no, it's not me that did it. We all work together. We deflect, and we don't stand in our power. We don't listen on the inside. So a lot of the work I do with women is know what you know, what you know, because it's easy to go, well, should I do this? What? And it's so funny, Jennifer. Like I just had a woman today, super powerful, like wildly powerful woman, and I was like, let me just give you permission. You already know the answer. You know the answer, but you're going, but I should do this. They say this, and I'm like, what? And when I said, when you find your answer, you are sovereign, you are free. And to me, the answer is the intuition. Like that, like that's our
Mm,
inner guidance.
mhm.
That's what it comes from. That to me is divine. And so this woman was literally talking herself out of her body's, like she knew it so clear, but she has a history of not being heard as a child and da da da. So I'm like, you're now perpetrating yourself. All the things you had happen to you, you're doing it to yourself.
Mm,
Will you please commit that you will never violate your own knowing? And so
mhm.
there's one thing to have the intuition, but then to be like, yeah, I can't not know anymore. And I have to act on the intuition and speak the intuition. I have to honor what I know, because it's great to know it. But if you're like, oh, but then will they get mad? Right?
Yeah, yeah. And so how do we tap into that feminine flow? What does that look like?
So the
How can we
feminine flow. Okay,
experience that?
perfect. So let's talk about the conditioning. Like I told you, and I
Mm,
always start to talk about how I started in this industry. There
mhm,
was no feminine role models. We were bros. We were like chicks in suits, basically, that worked all hours of the day and night and neglected our children because that was how it was done. And many of us have bought into the more is better. You have to work hard. You have to hustle. So the masculine, like go out, get stuff. The feminine is waiting for inspiration. It's that being yummy, that receptivity. Now,
mm,
to me, spirituality is being able to hear which is which, because it's not an either or. It's not like, okay, you're all masculine, or all like we what I say is like we wait for the idea. We're like, okay, that's boom. Then we flip into the more masculine energy and go make it happen,
mm,
right? But
mhm,
we value, our culture is so addicted to productivity, hustle, right? That was like, well, that's the right way. And me just sit and I say, sitting and waiting for guidance, not working. Oh, yeah, you're working. And anytime you just cultivate trust and grounding yourself, grounding your energy, being one with nature, observing the seasons, like that gets you in feminine flow. But we have to decondition the part of your brain that's like, that's not right.
mhm. So would you say then, Therese, that alignments when you have the balance between the masculine and the feminine, or how do you see people coming into alignment?
Oh, yes, and so my nose is itching. So there, I wonder what that means in terms of the question.
Mhm,
I just got like, woo. Alignment. Say, for example, you're really guided to do something, right? Like, oh my gosh, I really want to do this. The alignment is, can you hold that?
mm, mhm,
So because sometimes it's all masculine energy in the beginning, it's often like that's the blend. But for example, let's say you really 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 want to create something, but there's a part of you that's like, but I don't deserve that. Women can't do that. That'll never work for me. It's misaligned, right? So the work I do is like, okay, if that's the vision of your soul, I got to get you clear. I have to have your identity ready. Like I'm aligned with, like that's a yes. I can literally bring it into my body and go, it is mine, right? So
mhm.
until it's like there, the world of ideas isn't going to serve you. It has to literally be living in you. This is the work I do, alignment and embodiment. So then spirit can go, boom, go now. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
And
it makes
again,
total
sometimes
sense.
it's waiting for it, and sometimes it's okay, go time, right?
Yeah, yeah, it's like the being
The
comes
being
before the doing, and the doing is what gives you the having, right? There's a certain
beautifully
order of
said.
things, certain conditions that take
Yeah,
place, and
yeah.
it happens very subtly quite often. right? And I find that balance really comes from living our truth and being in alignment with that, being in integrity of that helps us build trust and confidence and security, right? It's a true sense of security instead of grasping at
Mhm.
things and trying to rush
Right,
into the next
right.
thing or to impress someone or to find approval or to be in this fight and flight response in our life and in our
Yes,
business,
yes, yes, yes,
and
yes,
in our
yes.
careers to be able to find our equilibrium
That's so
and
good.
yeah,
So well
totally
said.
be in alignment with who we are. That's what starts first. It all comes from how we're being, how we're showing up, and whether
Mhm,
that's in alignment, whether that's balanced with owning our truth and being,
mhm,
spiritually sovereign, as we've been
mhm,
talking about. What fosters trust, though, do you think? Because I know you spoke about, being internal and being tuned into our messages inside. And for me, that's really about faith too. And faith is an
mhm. Absolutely.
acronym for finding answers in the heart.
Oof,
And if our heart's
wow, that is
closed
good.
or
Yeah,
out there, yeah,
yeah.
then it's hard to have that faith, right? Then there's fear. There's the fear of not feeling safe. And so we're looking for something to feel safe in. And there's that grasping that happens. There's the control that happens. I've been contemplating a lot, actually, about the ideas of create versus control,
Mhm,
right? Whether it's ego versus soul. And so as we talk about all of these words, alignment and trust and faith and being in our heart and tapping into our inner guidance and finding that balance and the truth, where do we get an opportunity to foster that trust? Because there's
so
a
there's
lot of us who don't. We made decisions that didn't work out, for example,
right,
that
right, right,
we
right.
don't know how to discern. We don't know,
Mhm,
what's ours and what belongs to other people. So
mhm.
how can we
That's
foster
so
that
good.
trust?
Jennifer, that's such a great question. So I don't think you can trust divine guidance if you can't first trust yourself.
Mm,
Like if I didn't know how my intuition landed, if I didn't know if I can say the voice of God versus the voice of fear or the ego, like if I couldn't discern, because sometimes people will get an idea and they'll hear like, oh, that would be so scary. Oh my gosh, what if you fail? That's not the voice of God. That's not for you. That's the
mhm,
voice of the subconscious that's trying to keep you safe, small, and stuck.
mhm,
But what I know, and this is one thing that I always teach them, when people get this, it's like, oh, we're one with nature, right? And nature is always expanding and growing. Like you can't stop the trees from dropping the leaves, right? Like we don't nature doesn't have to do anything. Nature just trusts. Like drops the leaves, whoop, and then the buds come.
mhm.
Right? And so what I know of us, whether we know it or not, our souls want to expand. We want to experience more. We want to be more. We want to control. Like we're wired for that. Number one. Number two, though, is, and our subconscious is going to go, oh no, sister, that could be very scary. You could be the homeless cat lady under the bridge if you go there, right? So it's this dynamic. And so I teach a lot about this because number one, are you listening? Are you trusting? Like, wait, what? I'm supposed to go here? What? I have to give up this? What? Like, can you trust what is of you? Because
Mm,
if you can't, you literally will be hostage to this part, literally the brain, the subconscious is just like, you will be safe if you sit down and shut up and don't want for more, don't ask for anything else. So part of it is trusting how the messages land, what the messages are. That's big, right? So number one, do you have the wisdom and the discernment to go, oh, it's okay if it's a little like, oh my, can I really do that? Like that excited expansion little stretch versus you are so stupid. Why do you think you like when it's ever like that? There's no good in that. That's just suppressing you, right? So
mhm,
FYI. Or it's somebody else's, right? It's like, whoa, gosh, I just took off. That was what my father used to say to me. Or, oh my gosh, yeah, everybody knows healers can't make money. What? Right? So whenever you hear those sorts of things, the work is, whose is this? So if you can start trusting that, just like if you could just get that piece of our conversation today, like discern what's true, what's not, what's yours, what's not, what's higher and what's lower.
mm,
So then in your body, then you can begin to like, wow, now here's what's going to happen though, Jennifer. As you know, you're going to get this like download, oh my gosh, I'm supposed to do this. And the brain's going to go, but how, what do we do again? Right. And so many people stop themselves because they want to, they're like already at the end of the book, and you just got to open the first page. Right. So sometimes we mess it up. And so the work, literally the work is, yes, I decide to say yes. Show me the next step. That's all I need. Just a little tiny baby next step. Oh, and then maybe you'll get like, go read that book, or go call Jennifer, or go check out that podcast. What? Okay. That's all you have to know. It's so simple. It's not, you don't need a 37-page business plan. It's just like, I'm supposed to listen to the podcast. Okay, cool. And then more will be revealed. More, like if you live that way, it's so easy. But our brain's going to mess it up, right? To, again, keep you safe and small. So,
Yeah, it does a great job of distracting and
oh
diverting us,
my,
doesn't it?
oh my,
Oh,
it's
that
genius.
mind of ours. Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah, yeah.
And you spoke about the knees earlier, things
About
that
the what?
bring
I'm
you
sorry.
down to your knees,
Bring it. Yeah,
things that bring you down to your knees.
got it. Got it.
And which makes me think of surrender, right? And looking up to a higher power, to your higher self, to your higher
Yeah,
consciousness,
yeah.
to what am I supposed to do now? Like you
Mhm.
just said, it could be as simple as saying, what's the next step?
Yeah.
Guide me in what I'm supposed to do, where I'm supposed to be.
Yes.
So let's talk about surrender a little bit, because what is that? Like people think letting go, letting go. It sounds like a scary thing. Surrender seems a little more calming. It's kind of like it, not a giving up, but like not having to fight anymore, letting
That's
go
so
of the
good.
struggle,
So good.
unplugging, don't have to get engaged in these ego battles or power struggles. You just surrender, you let go. It's like, okay, I'm done. I'm done. You can relax. And then you're open to receive.
Mhm.
So, how can that be a good thing? Let's,
Let me tell
where's the
you a
power in
story.
that?
Yeah, no, let me I'll tell you a story that is such a depiction of what I'm talking about. So, a few years ago, my son, who had a little bit of substance abuse problem, had like this wretched, horrible mental health issue. Like for months, he was, in a manic episode, and kind of psychotic and paranoid. And it was, Jennifer, it was like I didn't think I could survive it. It was the hardest thing I've ever lived.
Mm-hmm.
His dad had died. I'm the only parent. And to see my child so sick and so nothing was working, it was just like, right. And I remember specifically calling my life coach minister. He's a minister. And I was like, Richard, this is going to kill me because I know what unrelenting stress does to your body. And he said, I want to remind you that God is bigger than the stuff in your life. Because what was happening is that I felt so alone, and everything I was doing was, I couldn't, it wasn't working. Now, nothing happens, but it's not like the sky's parted and he was healed the next day. But the remembrance, like, oh, I'm not on my own here. Oh, I can literally just give it to God. I can surrender trying to fix this thing. I don't have to solve this. I'll be guided to make the calls or do whatever, but the God in me is bigger than this solution. It was crazy because, again, nothing changed right away, but I was like, oh, I can keep going now.
Mm-hmm.
And it was such a, like, just like one little thing. The God in you is bigger than this. And so for me, it was like, right, I remembered something that I was supported by the God, right? Okay, it's going to be okay. And there was a moment of hope. And then eventually, he's doing great, by the way. He's doing phenomenal.
Yay.
Well, yeah, he's like
Woo.
sober and working in recovery. And so for me, because again, I was a caretaking, people pleasing, overachieving, I have to do it all. And so anytime I go, wait, stop, I'll do my best and God's got the rest. I'm just going to
Mm.
trust and know that everything is happening for me and in the divine order. Like what that does to my nervous system, because you get
Mm-hmm.
really jacked up when you think you have to run the world. Like it's really.
Yeah.
And if you're just like, you know what, I would love this, and I'll just give it to God, or I will surrender the outcome, like however you call that, whatever that
Mm-hmm.
word is for you. There is just something about that it literally brings peace. It brings me so much peace, and I don't worry. I don't worry because I'm like, oh, it's being handled. It's okay. So I stay in the present, and I focus on all that is working, all the blessings I have, everything that's like gives me good energy. Why go, oh my gosh, what if when I retire, what if my kid, eh, that's what you surrender. You surrender the fear thoughts. You surrender trying to control. I can't believe our government is doing this and the mm-mm, mm-mm. You know what I mean?
Don't need to
That's
go
the
there.
stuff,
Yeah.
because people get crazy with that. And
Oh,
it
yeah.
literally dysregulates your nervous system. It pulls your power down.
Mm,
And I'm not saying avoid like la 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 la, right? But
mhm.
don't put your energy into this shouldn't be happening this time. Like we get all spun and just like,
Yes,
nope, it's not mine.
not yours.
No.
I love that you said that I'll do my best, then God will do the rest.
Yes.
Gold, gold right there.
Gold, baby. Gold. Yes, yes,
Any
yes.
more golden wisdom nuggets for us, Therese?
I have this thing with desire. And some people, I just want you to hear this, okay, if you're listening. If there's something in your heart to do, it's from God,
Mm,
right? And so therefore, the way will be shown. So if you have a desire, whatever that is, maybe it's a desire to play the bass guitar, maybe it's a desire to help women, maybe it's a desire to have children, whatever it is, I want you to trust in that. Believe that, like, oh, that's mine. Oh, whoa, that is mine. And then the next piece is, who do I have to become? What work do I need to do to basically bring that out in the world? What do I have to
mhm.
believe? What I create? You know, what do I know? And so it's like if you have a desire, you don't need permission. Here's a permission. Poof, get permission. You know what I mean? Like if it's there, just go, whoa, okay. Because desire is literally of the Father, like more, it's like God expressing through you.
Mhm.
Who doesn't want that, right? Like, so our work, Jennifer, is like, this is what God wants us to do. Our work, this is our spiritual missions, spreading these messages because it's our soul's work in the world. We're not sitting around
Yes.
doing accounting. I would destroy things if that was my so anyways. Yeah.
Yeah, it truly is our passion, our deep desire.
Yeah.
And passion, the way I see it, when you break up the word, it's pass I on.
Mm,
I being your soul's expression of what you're here to
so
pass
good.
on in
So
this
good.
lifetime.
Yes, yes. So say yes to it. Say yes to it.
Say yes
Yeah.
to it. And Therese, I'd love people to say yes to working with you, to getting to know you even more. And I know you have a deep desire, a passion for helping women, especially. So tell
Yes.
us a little bit more about that and also the ways that people can connect with you.
Yes. So you know what, it's taken me a really long time to be able to go, what do I do? I don't know what the heck I do. And so I literally blend. I call myself the intuitive business mentor. And so I work with like people come to me to grow their business, but I really grow their lives, Jennifer. Don't tell them wink, 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 right? Like people, I'm all about transformation. So I'm working on relationships and healing and all this stuff. And so we grow the business, but again, we grow you. And
Mhm.
so the people that work with me, they're probably your people. They know they're here for big reasons. They know, and they're willing to do the work. They're willing to like turn themselves inside out so they can be the best vessel of the work, right? And so they're cool and courageous and spiritual, and they're here to make a difference. So my website is thereseskelly.com, and just my name. And then I have this brand new website and a brand new freebie. It's called the Business Bundle, and I have 3 meditations that are so yummy. So one is just called the business expansion. Like literally, it's a meditation to help you expand your business. The second one is connecting with the energy of abundance, because sometimes in business we forget that, right?
Mhm.
The third one, this is so yummy. It's called a prayer and a blessing for your business. And
Oh.
it's like I just speak over your business. It's just really yummy. And they're short, like 11 minutes, 7 minutes, 8 minutes. So it's just a very sweet, easy to process it's brand new. You're the first one hearing about it, like literally just
Wow.
going on. Yeah.
Honored.
So I hope you sign up for that. It's, good stuff.
Fantastic. Yeah, we'll have the links for all of that in the
Perfect.
show notes below in the description, your website. It's beautiful bundle package that you have with this beautiful, yummy meditations. Can't wait for that. You'll find a couple of free guides in the description below as well, some other resources for you, because we like to give you everything that you need to have the absolute
Okay.
best life so that you can pass on what you came here to do and be the best you can be and leave the rest to God. You
So
heard
well
it here on
said.
Awaken and Ascent.
That's right. That's right.
Thank you so much, Therese. It's been such a pleasure having you on the show.
Thank you. It's been a delight. Was a fabulous conversation, and I'm again, thanks for having me, and just blessings to all the listeners. So.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, thank you so much to each and every one of you. Blessings on your journey, and make sure you join us again next time on Awaken and Ascend.